Hello everybody and welcome back to another weekly upload of Vacuum Exposition. I know that this is coming to you guys a few days late and I am terribly sorry. I've had some things come up in my personal life that have unfortunately delayed a few other things. This included, unfortunately. So things are getting better, but we will be back to our regularly scheduled program this coming Sunday. Now, a couple other things. I know that we mentioned the Phantom video. That is coming up. It is just making a few more tweaks on it. I want to make sure that when you guys see it, it is perfect. So for those, stay tuned. Because that is certainly a project that I can't wait for you guys to see. We are going to be looking at something a little bit older than that today. So let's get into the video. All right, everybody. So as you can tell, we are not looking at an upright. We are looking at a canister today. And we don't look at many of these types of canisters yet, just because we haven't gotten to it yet. But what we are looking at is probably one of my absolute favorite Electroluxes in my collection and to exist. Now, what we are seeing here today, this is a 1968 Electrolux model 1205. These came out and they were very prevalent throughout the late 60s and early 70s. And would later become the Golden J, which was still a model 1205, but with some changes. But that was kind of the evolution of this particular model. Now, the reason why I say mine is special, that I really like it, is because this is the earliest form of the 1205. Previous to this, we were still seeing the Model G, and I'll show a picture of one right here. As well as things like the Model L. Here's a picture of one right there. Which were both very much more tank-type machines. This, of course, still being a tank-type machine, but they were the round, very typical canister tank that you would have seen. Now, this is an early 1205, so this would have been 1968. And I say that and know that because, one, the power nozzle. So this came with the PN1 power nozzle that was known for being the one-piece power nozzle. So you had this long power nozzle extension sheath thing. So that's one significance. It did also still have a pigtail hose. And if you don't know what a pigtail hose implies, essentially it just means that there's a cord that goes all the way around the hose, all the way down to the bottom of the machine right here. So, so those are two aspects. The other thing is the Electrolux emblem right here on the side, but that is red. And on the later models, I was told that that would be chrome or silver. It also has a black face panel, and they would later become blue. In addition to this, being an early 1205, we have a metal handle. These would, as I'm guessing for a cost-cutting measure, be changed to plastic, which resulted in a lot of them breaking and these getting thrown away, unfortunately. And then they also had a power nozzle port in the front, and I will show you right here. That's the power nozzle plug. Later, that would be relocated down to the side, and that's just what it would be. I'm guessing it was because of ease and the cord wouldn't fall out. Now, it's interesting because the 1205 manual never changed through its run. And there was about 5 different iterations of the 1205. You can see that it had the power nozzle plug on the front. So that manual stayed in production and went with all the machines, even though they were making subtle changes to them. This one also has a smooth side instead of the textured paint side that they would do on the later models. So that's another fact. But overall, it's a very interesting machine. You know, they would change aspects and colors. They would get rid of this one-piece power nozzle and come out with an extension wand, and then this would just be its own little unit down here. But overall, it was a very popular machine. A lot of people bought them. I know I personally, when I looked at this machine, I wanted it because I had seen it in an ad. Now, for those that don't know, I'm an avid bowler and love it. And they had an advertisement for this, and unfortunately I have the advertisement, but it is somewhere buried in my storage unit and I could not find it when I was trying to get ready for this video. But there is an ad that has the 1205, which with the hose pointed down, and is holding like 5 bowling balls. And you know, when you mix a couple of your interests together, you suddenly find an affinity towards it. So in addition to that, my late friend Jay Devine, I almost gave this to him not knowing exactly what it was, and he challenged me on it. He said, well, do you know exactly what this is? Because I don't want to take this with you not knowing how special this machine is. So at the time, I was just getting rid of stuff left and right. And this, unfortunately, did not have a hose or a power nozzle at the time. So he told me, and I made the decision to keep it, and he was completely okay with that. So later, I would find the right power nozzle and a right hose, and you know, I did have more of the attachments, but they're in storage. But either way, I did make this machine more complete. It's not in the best shape, but you kind of expect that with an early run machine. So in addition to the features that I told you about, and these were there's also features that this shared with previous models, but you did still have a blower on the top, so you could put your hose in that hole right there and use that to blow mothball crystals through your closets and protect your various coats. But it also had an automatic suction control, and I'll bring the machine over so you guys can see here. As we can see, we have an adjustment wheel, so that as you can see right there, that white line would get further and further away depending on, you know, what type of suction or how much you wanted. So as long as it was all the way up, you know, you had full power. In addition to this, now there was a previous model known as the LX or the 60 that would have introduced the pop-out bag. So essentially what it would have done is when the bag was full, it would have automatically opened and popped it out, and this one still shares that same feature, so that's very cool. It also has a guide light. Now, this was the first model that they had that had this guide light, so that in case you didn't know, or in case it didn't eject the bag, it would show that your bag was full or getting really full. So that way you knew when to change your bag. So, very cool machine. Of course, you have your switch up here. And it would just follow you around, and they're very, very quiet, and they're very, very powerful for what they are. The PN1 power nozzle was one of Electrolux's absolute best and would continue for well into the mid-70s, just because of how durable and how well it performed. Now, the 1205 was also very well known in advertisement with other Electrolux models. Electrolux loved to sell their products, and by selling products, I mean they had their name on everything. You had toys and banks. There was a little miniature bank that you could get that essentially your Electrolux man, when he delivered this and brought this to your front door, you could get a little piggy bank that was about a quarter of the size of the real machine. And essentially that would be what you would, you know, keep your money in order to make the monthly payment on your vacuum cleaner. But it was another way of kind of introducing the kids to it as well. So they continued that well up into the 90s. And in addition to this kind of thing, you know, Electrolux used to also send out postcards. And, you know, the 1205 was no different. There was several different postcards that came out, and one of the more famous ones of the early one like this looked just like this. So they always wanted to make sure that people were aware that they had a new machine out, that it was ready to be bought by consumers. So now that we kind of have taken a look at this little machine, we are going to move on to our run demo and see how she does. Okay, so we have the 1205 already plugged in and ready to rock. So let's see how this thing performs a little bit across the carpet and give her a good vacuum. As you can tell, very quiet machine, but man does it groom the carpet well. So, well everybody, I appreciate you coming along this journey with the 1205 and I tonight. Of course, it is a miraculous marvel out of the late 60s, early 70s time frame. They were a great machine, definitely performed well, but of course, production moves on and it was replaced by other machines that continued to outperform each other. So I hope you guys all enjoyed our little exposition on this little machine. And stay tuned for this Sunday, and I will have another one out. So you guys have a great rest of your week, and we'll catch you in the next one.